Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are just getting ready to get started here with our Catalite event. I'm Natara. I'm your restreamer for this evening, and by this evening I mean this morning. And what a morning it is! We are going to get started. Our commentary team for today, who are going to introduce you all and talk to you about all this, are Rexral and Legend Harvest, with Zyrak as our tracker. So I'm going to let them take it away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the World Series of Free Enterprise Catalite Qualifier. This is the third qualifier for this event. My name is Rex Raul. As Natara stated, I am here with Legend Harvest. Legend, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for our Catalite seed we have here, excited to commentate, and excited to see our runners use that exit mage.
Yeah, starting with Tella does have that as a big advantage, having access to that exit spell right away. Doesn't have a lot of other advantages at the very beginning, but a trip up Mount Hobbs gets him a bunch of spells. Not a lot of stats, but yeah, he can cast spells. So there's that. This is Catalite, so we've got four of our runners. We've got about 19 or 20 people racing overall, but we're going to watch Poydrek, Penguinator, Smaped, and Justin NBT do their job today, and it looks like we are off to the races.
Yeah, a Dark Knight Cecil would definitely help do that Mount Ordeals play to get Tella all his spells.
Yeah, but instead it looks like we've got a Porum with us today. So for anybody who is hoping that we don't have a white mage, well, it looks like we have a white mage.
We actually have two white mages technically.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess you can count Tella as a white mage, but he's really just like a hits soaker upper. So
Yeah,
with this Catalite, we're probably going to see a lot of people doing a lot of looting at the beginning, try to get some good equipment. Looks like we see in the Baron Inn, Dark Knight Cecil, as you had thought about earlier, Legend.
Oh, I hope people don't think I'm a witch anymore.
Well, I don't think any more than they might have before. So yeah, there's a lot of treasures here in Baron for people to take a look at. Now, it's not going to be the best equipment because we have S3 on today, or excuse me, T3 on today instead of T4. So we're not going to find adamant armors or anything like that just lying around in the grass. But there are still some decent stuff that people can find.
And in case we have any new watchers today, that SC flag you see there means that shops only have cabins, so you'll not see our runners going into shops other than buying
Yeah, exactly. So you're not going to be bailed out by finding curative items like life potions, cure twos and threes, ethers, or elixirs in shops. So any healing that has to be done will be done. So they're actually pretty blessed to get Porum that they have a method of healing that has more than 90 MP.
I like Penguinator's play, going to the waterfall watery pass to pick up some extra items.
That was actually the Misty Cave to get those items. Not one that's done very often, but yeah, there are definitely some chests in there that a lot of other runners won't check. So if a very good item is in there, then they can definitely be rewarded.
And perhaps Justin will show us who is that character in the bed with the sand ruby. It is a Foo.
Oh, so we've got a magic heavy party. So I think that's 4 of the 5 characters that we've seen so far.
All we need is one more white mage.
Oh yeah, you're right. We are getting like the 5 out of 5 white mages might be like Natara may be able to uh, be fulfill her promise.
There's also a heroine robe that was picked up, so if we can get either a Rosa or a Rydia, that might help as well.
Well, we already have a Porum who can also use that heroine robe. We'll probably need a bow and arrow or a power staff to really make that useful, but Usually Rydia and Rosa get a little bit more value out of the heroine robe, but Porum can do work too.
So we just
go ahead.
So we just have our runners here checking out. We can see that Smately and Podrak have also checked out who the character in the bed.
Yeah, and I think you might have some sort of precognition because Penguinator did check that watery pass as well, so got a few extra chests up there.
Hopefully our runners check Antline. We can see what our first boss there will be.
Yeah, curious to see if people are going to make the trip to see the character on Mount Hobbs prior to going down Antlion. Looks like that's where Poydrak is headed right now. And thanks, Castro86 for the subscription. Thanks for supporting Free Enterprise.
Maybe we'll see a 17 out of 17 seed tonight.
In Catalite, I think it's a little bit more likely to see it just because more bosses for experience might be fought.
Oh, and then we see our bonus round with Miss Dragon on Hobbs.
Not to mention our fifth character, Sid, is found on Mount Hobbs. So we've got our full team known. We're going to have Fusia, Cecil, Porum, Tella, and Sid.
I know that sometimes when you see a Miss Dragon in a spot where you also get a cool item, you could be likely to forget about that, but hopefully our runners won't forget about checking Rydia's mom then after they kill Miss Dragon.
Agreed. I can't tell you how many times it is where it's like you're either playing or watching somebody defeat the Miss Dragon and go somewhere else and it's like, do it. But I think we've got some very good runners today, and so I think they're going to remember to head over to Mist. Maybe not right away, but before too long.
Yeah, especially since we don't have any of our lower tier items replaced with money, inventory management like Penguinator is doing right now is definitely going to be a big boss in this game too.
Yeah, and using the inventory management on this particular screen in the bottom of the Troya Castle is doubly annoying because those doors automatically close when you enter the menu. So have to make some extra steps.
So it looks like we'll have 3 of our runners on screen now at Miss Dragon. Good plays by all of them.
Yeah, and getting Sid at this point is actually really nice. He's a very strong character for the early part of the game. His wooden hammer deals some pretty decent damage against the early bosses. And so the fact that they start with pretty low offensive characters in Tella and Porum gets mitigated by the fact that you get Sid in the party as well. So this is going to be a big boon to the players for the early part of this race.
What are you hoping that Miss Dragon gives, Rexraw?
I think if there's something that I'd want to see the most, it would definitely be the Twin Heart. Because I just want to hear the music.
I know maybe some of our fans are also hoping for a Hook Seed. It's always pretty popular.
Yeah, I'm okay with the hook being behind the Twin Heart to get to the Hook Seed, so that you have to listen to music in order to get to the underground. That would be fine.
We see some members in chat naming out what they'd like to see. Nalway wants a glass hat. Xyrak wants a shadow armlet.
Shadow armlet would be a pretty trolly item to get.
Now, something I like about having Tella, and we'll see if any of our runners do this, is because you have that handy-dandy exit spell, it's much easier to check all the items like Poydrak is doing on the other side of Hobbs.
Yeah, a lot of time there are people who will not check these chests if they don't have a way of casting exit, and getting Tella just makes it so much easier to check these chests and get that really nice eagle eye that Poidrick just found.
And my personal routing is that they find a magma key. I'm always one to like the magma key start. We'll see what our runners think. They're usually pretty up for magma keys as well.
I think runners tend to really like the magma key. Commentators and viewers tend to like the hook seed, so we'll see. We got that magma key, so anybody who's checking the Mist Village right away are going to be.
So now the question is, when they throw this magma key down that well, are they going to check shops next? Are they going to go check and see if Feymarch has the pan? I don't know.
Well, they're probably not going to do a lot of shop checking. As you mentioned, the only things sold in shops are cabins. However, the Feymarch check is definitely there. People might want to take a dip to see what bosses are at the bottom of the Feymarch as well. So those are some things. People might want to take a route to the Sylph Cave before heading to Fabul to try to make it at least one less time going to Fabul. So there's a lot of things that are open right now.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen any of our runners do football yet.
Yeah, that's right. All of our featured runners are following a pretty similar path. They looted different places, but they all went to Hobbs and got their Sid, checked Mist, and are going to Antline now. So very similar routing from these very good runners here.
Sometimes you just get those seeds where all of the routing is very linear, and then sometimes you get those seeds where all the routing just opens up.
That's true, but the interesting thing is right now this is not super linear. There's a lot of places that are open to our runners. They're all just going to the same places regardless. Now, it does kind of make sense to go to Antlion early because there's a lot of treasure chests in this cave. So that's a lot of looting that they can do. The boss is very easy, even at low levels, to defeat, unless it happens to be something like Wyvern or Galvez or something like that. But it's generally an easy boss, and you've got Tellus. When you're done, you can exit out of there really fast. So I can definitely understand why all of them made this decision, even though there are a lot of places that they can go at this point.
Yeah. For our runners, still doing lots of looting. I saw quite a number. Penguin has the heroine robe on Porm there.
Yeah, I think that's something that people will do to increase the damage output. I mean, that's probably not necessary at this point with Sid for most of the bosses that we get here, but still, it's a little thing that you could do.
Error pointing out that you can actually move the trash can in your inventory. So sometimes I will see runners do that occasionally.
Speaking of a rude boss here, we do have the Wyvern sitting at the bottom of the Antlion Cave, and Penguinator just got a rude awakening there. Poidrak's about to find that out.
Yep, and then Poidrak takes a Mega Nuke to the face as well.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's a finding Wyvern here is kind of it's upsetting because you take the time to go through the Antlion Cave in order just to wipe at the end, and that's not good. However, as you see, that Mega Nuke's only doing about 1,000 damage, a little over 1,000 damage to each of the characters. So once they level up Sid to the point where he has enough HP, they can go right back there and beat that Wyvern without a problem. It's not like one of the really high-powered locations where Mega Nuke will do 9999 to everybody, and like you just gotta hope that you can get a Star Veil or something up right away in order to have a chance.
And we see that the reward that Justin has received is a defense sword.
Yeah, and Penguinator are also able to defeat the Wyvern at these low levels, whereas Poydrak did decide to leave, and we'll try this again.
Yes, Swimmy pointing out that no one in the seed can actually use the defense sword, as we don't have, a Cecil or a Kane.
Not yet, but we do know that Dark Knight Cecil is sitting in the Baron Inn. So if they decide to acquire Cecil and head up Mount Ordeals, we do have somebody who can use that defense sword. But the party, as it stands right now, uh, might not be strong enough to defeat, especially that second boss in the Baron Inn spot. That is a bit higher level for these low level characters, though Sid does make it a lot more doable.
And our chat's favorite item, possibly, is a Drain Spear from the free item in the Frameworks chest.
Nice. Smapety did talk to the occupational dwarf, so big thumbs up to Smapety there.
If anyone didn't know, that one of the dwarfs in the chest room in the back of Tamra has a random job that you can talk to and find out each and every seed.
Now, Penguinator also checked a chest that isn't always checked very often, which is the one hidden chest in the grass in the town of Agart. Found a Bacchus there, and so there's not going to be a lot of Bacchuses found since you can't buy them in chests. Only what you can find in you're not going to be able to buy them in shops, so you've got to rely on chests in order to find them. So Penguinator finding that Bacchus there, that's a big thing if he's going to be using any sort of berserk strats against Zeramis or any of the other bosses leading up to that.
And as a reminder, as Simbu says in chat, the AA flag is off. So yes, if you do pick up Cecil, you will have to agility anchor with him.
Yeah, the question is like, are you going to try to worry about the agility anchoring too much, or is Cecil is, especially since we already have that defense sword, which is a very very good sword for him. Like, is it going to be worth it to not have that damage output that Cecil can give versus the agility? Like, instead, you just want to, you'll have Tella as an agility anchor without that if you want, and that's pretty good. But is that better than the damage output that Cecil can do? So that's what you've got to weigh. That's what the runners are going to have to weigh their decision on. And now that could be mitigated also if one of the rewards from the key item locations is something like a crystal sword or an Excalibur, or if they find just the adamant of the legend sword and get an Excalibur that way. Like, the better weapon that you get for Cecil, the more likely it is that you can't say no to it.
And let's not forget that if we do find a Sand Ruby, we will have Fu, or possibly another location to have Fu, so fighting different bosses definitely helps with Fu as well.
Yeah, with that Fusia challenge, every boss that you fight will give another 100 hit points and 3 spells to Fu's spell pool. So that's going to be the way to power him up. And 3 bosses on Mount Ordeals, that's pretty good for him.
Podrek taking the side entrance to the Dwarf Castle, looting all those chests there.
Yeah, going in that kind of the back way into the castle like that is usually to loot every chest in the Dwarf Castle, because that just makes it easy access to the ones that are in the back room, which, if you're going in from the front, are not very convenient to get to.
We did find Podrek found a black sword for his troubles there. The best sword to equip on Dark Knight Cecil.
And it looks like Justin MDP has found the Mega Sisters. I believe this is at the top of Mount Ordeals. This is a kind of a tricky fight. but hopefully, yeah, going to be using a Bacchus here makes Sid do as much damage as possible. But that Delta attack can do a lot of damage, especially to Porum in this scene.
Yes, unfortunately, Tala's magic isn't quite great right now, and none of the other two have good multi-target magic that gets around a wall.
But it looks like that Berserk on Sid is working well. You might have either an Elven Bow or Mute arrows, which do 4 times damage against the Magus Sisters, because he's dishing out some really good damage numbers on that fight.
I believe Smapty is going to head right back to Fabul to check out what the first Sheila 1 item is.
Yeah, probably we'll do the Fabul defense at this point too, to kind of double dip the key item locations.
We can see that the next boss on Mount Rodio's is CPU.
Yeah, now that's an annoying fight. Probably not a dangerous fight with this party, but it's not going to be a fun one to try to get through. The healing that Porum and Tela can do is going to out heal the damage that the attacker can do. It's just how fast Sid will be able to take out the CPU itself. And it looks like Smapty found the Baron guards in the first Fabul fight here, or the only Fabul fight.
Yeah, too bad we don't have coffins for sale in a shop. That would be wonderful. And Tela doesn't know his stone or fatal spell either.
Yeah, and so that means these guards, they have nasty counterattacks. If you attack them physically, they use the size spell. If you attack them with a spell, they use the piggy spell. So just nasty status effects that they can inflict on your party, and they're proven to be a little difficult right now.
We have Podrak, who's probably going to do about the same thing, going up to talk to the King of Football.
Penguinator seems to be looting everywhere, even going to Kokel's hut. Before having the Legend and the Adamant Sword, or the Adamant and the Legend Sword, just to pick up the treasures in there.
Showing off all the nice secret chests in the game, especially that one under the staircase.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that one existed before the Enterprise. But you can learn a lot about Final Fantasy IV by playing Free Enterprise and being a part of the community on Discord.
Yeah, we have some excellent guides, and it's definitely during the World Series of Free Enterprise, we've showcased a lot of different flags that offer a lot of different customability about the game. A question in chat, Bakashnobi asks if anyone has found any star veils. I do not believe there's been any star veils. There was a moon veil in either the Misty Cave or the Waterway, one of the two.
Looks like Smapty was able to defeat those guards, and so we see the prize is the tower key. And with access to the underground, that means both of the key item locations within the Tower of Babel, Lower Tower of Babel, that is, are available to the runners at this point.
Yeah, it's always a challenge saying, do I go and do tower without the tower key? Sometimes, one of the tower bosses has the tower key, but that's not the case for this race today.
Poindrak having a bit of an easier time with the guards having the silent staff equipped, and that does 4 times damage against them, so made that a bit easier. And Smapty finds that darkness crystal from Sheila 1, so we have moon access.
I wonder if he's going to go and check the moon character. It's It's always a good play to do.
Yeah, if they're lucky, could find Fusia on the moon and then wouldn't have to worry about finding uh, that sand ruby in order to activate him. Um, if it's anybody else, then it might be kind of a waste of time to go up there right now, because probably not able to kill any of the bosses, and we know where Dark Knight Cecil is.
I'm always hoping for a water hag at a very convenient spot.
Well, with these low HP numbers, even if Waterhead can one shot Sid, they still might lose to the Water Hag at this point. It just kind of depends on how fast you are, and those moon bosses are quite fast.
Also, having a full 5-character party is definitely going to be a help, so getting a 4th character possibly will be helpful for our party for sure. Simbu calling out that he wants Golbez and Gauntlet at Dwarf Castle of Crystal.
Poindrak taking a hike somewhere. I'm not sure what his goal is right now.
Something Brother says, what's in Catalite that's not in Cata? I believe that rare Cata seeds have the no experience sharing, so it's very difficult to get all your characters leveled.
Yeah, and yeah, the chat is going through the ideas like the T3, and there's a forge the crystal element in there. So
Now we have Penguinator also spawning the big whale after getting his crystal.
and Poindrak taking another stab at these guards. Going to be using the stop spell off of Tella. Ooh, but a miss there is not going to help. This is the problem with Tella. He does not have very good stats. So oftentimes his spells, whereas if they were cast by a proper white mage or black mage, would be effective, just don't happen.
Additionally, putting Tella in the middle will give him an accuracy boost that he often very much needs.
Yeah, even for spells like life are important. So after attuning from picking up Dark Knight Cecil, Smapty is going into the Baron Inn, where there's also a Dark Knight.
Unfortunately, I didn't see any of our runners pick up an hourglass either to make this Dolls fight any easier.
Luckily, they have very low hit points. Just an MDT completing the final fight up at the top of Mount Ordeals, and finds Ogopogo there. So any hope for Ogopogo being the troll boss at a very difficult spot, not going to happen this season.
I mean, we still have Valvalis, right? She can be quite a troll.
She can be a troll. Most of the four fiends, other than Mylon, depending on where they are, could be very trolly in locations. A lot of the moon bosses as well.
Looks like Penguinator is continuing his loot everything quest by looting things in Cave Bahamut. Will Cave Bahamut return value once again for this seed?
And speaking of Valvalis, looks like she is going to be the second fight in the Baron Inn. No cane to stop her spinning, but looks like they've got the offense to still deal damage despite the tornado form at this spot.
We see Rubicante in Cave Bahamut, and Penguinator nopes right out of that fight.
You know, it looks like Penguinator's done looting the moon now, heading back to.
I mean, no one's made that play with the tower key to go and check Tower of Zot yet.
Yeah, I think the top boss is still going to be tough at this point. But the tower, like if you're just going to cash in the key, then possibly. But then you might be committing to double dipping. Penguinator going into the Chocobo Forest, looting there. Yeah, Penguinator might be going for that $3.99.99.
Chat saying that the Luca key was the reward on the top of ordeals.
Boydrak finally getting that stop to hit on that guard.
You know, you finally get good gear for your Dark Knight Cecil, and then you're just gonna go up to ordeals and make him into a paladin.
Yeah, such is the nature of the randomizer, right? But I guess even in the vanilla game, you're given the Black Sword right before just the final quest is to head over to Mount Ordeals, so.
And we see Justin gets the Earth Crystal.
Yeah, so I'm sure that when Penguinator gets that Earth Crystal, he's going to jump down to the bottom of Troya and loot a bunch more chests. We'll see if any of the other runners do it too. But they also might want to prioritize getting to the Tower of Zot, because that might be another way to get Fusia without having to find that sand ruby.
And also importantly is a lot of our runners will probably want to get 10 key items before heading to the moon, so they can get that double experience.
Yeah, and since all the moon bosses give tons of experience, getting that 10 key items before there is just more bonus experience. I think that's a good point. I think there's going to be a lot of runners who are going to get that 10 key items before fighting moon bosses.
Justin now just dropping his magma key down the well.
Also got that Bacchus wine from the Jurassic.
Yeah, it's really nice when you can free up your white mage for healing rather than having them cast burst.
Yeah, on important bosses, that's something that's really good to do. Before then, just being able, either one, like a lot of bosses you don't even during, but it depends on where you're at, how many Bacchuses you have, and everything like that. The other thing is, if there's advantages and disadvantages to wearing that heroine robe. That speed boost that you get on it makes it so that you can cast the status effects, something like a wall or a burst, really early in the fight. However, it does make your healing worse as well.
So we have Penguinator going up to fight CPU, going to try to get all his spells on Tella and make his Dark Knight Cecil into a paladin.
Yeah, especially since this is a seed that has both Tella and Cecil in it. And Fusia, really. The incentives for completing Mount Ordeals are just too high. Like, I can't imagine anybody skipping Mount Ordeals on this.
Now we have Smapety actually checking the forest in the back of Troya.
Yeah, it finds a silk web back there, a very useful item, especially in this fight. It casts double slow and is also an item that can be used to make the first big bang of the Zeramis fight be considerably less powerful. So that's something that I'm wagering that he's going to save until that battle.
Yeah, I always like the runs when J items are on. Then you get all of your good, important items that can help you through. So even though we have no other items in shops, we can still find all of those helpful J items in our chests.
Yeah, and that's why this particular flag set tends to have people looting a bit more than a lot of other ones where you can buy things in shops, because you don't have access to these items anywhere else. Now, Smapty is looting that treasury locked behind the Earth Crystal at the bottom of Troya. So, didn't find anything super good. There was a bandana that's a pretty useful headgear for physical attackers. A Lilith Rod, which is a pretty decent boost for black magic, but nothing super powerful. But that's such is the nature of T3.
Yeah, I like that Gaia hat for Fu, if we wanted to use that to boost his black magic if we actually get him in this seed.
Yeah, those are it's a useful item, but definitely not super powered.
Definitely not an adamant armor.
I see Nwalmi saying the Drain Sword could be important if they end up getting Fusia and have both Fusia and Forum. I don't think they'll need to use Drain Sword strategies because they'll just have good enough offense. But that is another option that they will have.
Yeah, having a healer, having a good Zerker, or having mages to cast Nuke is definitely all very plausible options for the Z fight.
And if they're lucky enough, I'm not saying they will. I mean, they for Sid to use, which is a pretty decent bow. If they can find Samurai Bow or even better Artemis Bow, then he can be useful as a Zerker as well. I suppose I think there was a Rune Axe that was found too. That could be used as well. I think Sid tends to work a little better as an archer, but the axe can chop things down as well.
And the Rune Axe, though not having as great accuracy, would be great against Ashura, which we haven't seen in this seed, as it would do 4 times as much damage.
Yeah, there's a couple other bosses that we haven't seen yet as well. I believe the Rubicant would be another one, and the Rubicant and the Elements fight. But having already found the Mega Sisters and the Baron Guards, that's just a little bit unfortunate. You'd like to have it. Like, when you've got that Rune Axe, you know that you can do extra damage against them. And so you kind of like to see them in a more difficult spot where you have access to dealing that much damage. But, Rando's going to Rando.
Exactly, and that's what makes watching these seeds so enjoyable. You could have a really hard, perhaps unbeatable Catalite seed, or a Catalite seed that's, maybe like Catalite light. So pretty easy for them.
And now Justin, having completed Mount Ordeals before to Fabul, was able to make use of the stone spell against those Baron Guards and just one-shot them. So pretty nicely done there by Justin. And as Spapty is fighting the Mega Sisters up the top of Mount Ordeals, Poydrak is going to follow suit and head up there. And now we'll see where Penguin Eater is heading next, heading into Toria. See if he's just going to loot. He does not have the Earth Crystal yet, so this is just a looting run.
Well, perhaps we'll see the Twin Harp at Earth Crystal. That would be nice.
Hey, if I could get the Twin Harp required in this seed, that would be nice. But the only required item left to find is the crystal.
And once we do find that crystal, then it'll be interesting seeing how our runners take to that grind fight, how they're going to get their levels up, or how they're going to approach Zeromus.
Yeah, if they I think getting 10 key items is going to be pretty important with this flag set still. So my thought is based on what these runners um, are doing with all the prioritizing of the of the bosses and everything like that, is that they're going to try to make a way to find Fusia and get the 10 key items and then grind.
Looks like Penguinator is going to go up to the use that Earth Crystal. Hopefully he'll encounter our friend Flame Dot.
Oh, I missed something. For some reason, I thought that Penguinator didn't have that Earth Crystal, and then I'm thinking, like, why? Like, he wouldn't be able to loot that place. I apologize for misspeaking there.
It's alright. I apologize for thinking that Penguinator was going to go $3.99 because he skipped all those treasure chests.
Yeah, so yeah, those treasure chests I don't want to touch, but the ones in the Chocobo Forest, better get those.
I mean, he still hasn't checked that that one Chocobo chest, or Chocobo Forest chest that's like on its island all by itself.
That's
He
true.
was truly going for $3.99. He would check that one.
Now Justin is activating the big whale. If he plans to go up to the moon right now, probably just to get the character, we'll find Dark Knight Cecil there as well. And it looks like Penguinator are going to be fighting the Dark Elf in the Mega Sister spot.
So because we have free bosses on, then you could actually stop the Dark Elf when he turns into his dragon snake-like form.
Yeah, or could also use Weak. Susceptible to both of those spells. Those a couple ways that you could cheese the Dark Elf.
And of course, for grinding, we do have weak on Tella, but because we cannot turn random encounters on, D-Machine is not an option for this seed because the Siren only summons the most rarest encounter, which is a single D-Machine.
Right, so no D-Machine, like no one fight with constant resummonings of D-Machines in this one.
Perhaps Fu will be one of our two characters who got Earth Crystal.
I think Penguinator's hoping for that. You see a duplicate Porum there, and it looks like the Evil Wall will be the boss in the Golbez spot in the Dwarf Castle. So that's another piece of information that Penguin will have as well.
Unfortunately, there is no Fu that you can get from using the Earth Crystal. So we'll still have to keep looking for that Fu.
Yeah, absolutely. So that Sand Ruby is going to be top on the minds of all of our runners because getting that Fusia is going to make completing the seed a whole lot easier.
Hey, and it's Waterhag. Shoutouts to Waterhag for being the best character.
Yeah, the Water Hag here, you're going to make this completing of this Tower of Zot quite easy for Penguiners. So at least it's not going to cause them to reset or have a wipe here after going through all of that.
Just remember, chat, be strong and believe. Penguinator doing some run buffering to try to make the shaking for the boss a little bit faster.
And now Sid will cast Exit for some reason, and then there'll be a Baron for Penguinator, and we're going to get an item.
Oh, and that item is the crystal. Everyone, we have found the crystal at Earth Crystal.
So yeah, Tower of Zot is required, and it looks like Smapety is making that climb right now. But we have go mode for Penguinator. The question is, when do you grind? When do you go there? How much do you hunt for that sand ruby to get Foo? But Penguinator's checking another place that will have a character, so this might be the way that Penguin can get Foo as well. And Penguin at this point knows that the second boss is,
Oh, and we have the Full Gauntlet. So that's our first fight.
I believe that was Kainazo,
Oh,
another
sorry
blue
about that.
blob. The Fumu Gauntlet would have been a lot less scary to fight at this point, I would say.
Yeah, I like your phrasing. Another blue blob.
Yes, another blue blob. But Penguinator should have the skills to beat this. We'll see. It's going to be depending on exactly how powerful the wave is and when Tella can get that thunder spell off of him.
Yes, if you can hit him with a lit spell before he queues up that wave, you can actually get it to not happen.
Yeah, the timing is a little fickle. Sometimes you can scare him with the lit and the wave will still go off. But it looks like everything went without a hitch here, and I think Penguinator should be fine for the rest of this fight.
And of course, Keianatsu's wave damage is proportional to his health. So Simbu saying in chat about how much the wave should hit for, and as you attack Keianatsu, his health goes down, and thus the wave damage proportionally goes down as well.
Yeah, oftentimes after even a single round of fighting, or like you're able to knock that counter the first wave with the lit spell. After that, the damage that you're doing with your other characters is usually enough so that even if a second wave goes off, it's a lot more manageable than the first one.
So Justin here fighting Flame Dog. So an interesting thing is, even though our chests are only T3, when you're fighting a trapped chest monster, you can actually get loot, much better loot from one of these.
Yeah, the higher tier, and I believe Smapety just fought this fight as well, and the reward is a Leviathan summon, which would be very nice if we had Iridian in our party.
Yes, none of our runners did check out that Hobbs flag, because that's only occurs when you have Iridia in your party. So.
It looks like Penguin was able to find Fusiya at Dwarf, so we're not going to need to hunt for that sand ruby to find it. Now the question is, how much time and effort is Penguin going to be putting into finding those 10 key items?
And after this fight, Penguinator will need only 2 more fights to bring Fu up to full. And I'm sure, as many fans of Free Enterprise know, that the boss you fight will actually change the color of the hand going up to grab the crystal.
Couch asking, any sirens found? I believe one siren is what we've seen.
Yep, and we see Podrick going over to that area where you can summon your gold dragon with his 1 siren.
Okay, Penguinator getting the rat tail here puts him at 7 key items. We'll see if he decides to make that trip up the tower for another couple 2 possible key items to get closer to the 10, or if he just goes to the moon to start growing. Or
Well,
goes somewhere I was not expecting.
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Again, he needs 2 more bosses for Fu, so Misty Cave is a great place to get a free boss.
Yeah, absolutely. So just trying to get that fully powered Fusia, it does make complete sense. Yeah.
And it's nice because then you can see, what boss is off the table, so he will not find D-Lunars on the moon.
Exactly. Yeah. It's those little incremental bits of information that you learn throughout that'll help complete the scene.
So it looks like he's probably going to go up to the moon now. There was a Rubicante in Cave Bahamut, so we'll see if he heads there or if he goes into the lunar subterranean.
Well, there's a Rubicante sprite, so it's either Rubicante or because both of those would use that same sprite there. But we'll see if that is the place where he decides to go. And it looks like, nope, it's going to be the lunar subterranean.
And both Justin and Smapety about to get rewarded with that crystal.
Now, I think oftentimes Catalite seeds, you're going to want to get to the 10 key items before grinding. Now, the reason that Penguin might be heading straight here now instead of going through, as I thought he might go to the tower to try to get some more key items there, is the fact that Fusia is in the party. Fusia basically doesn't need experience, and he's super powerful to start with. So having him in the party means that I'm guessing that the average level of the party won't need to be as high in order to win. So he also has a very high HP pool with both Cecil and Sid. So there's a lot of benefits to this party overall. Now, Porum is still somebody who's going to be difficult to keep alive without properly nerfing Big Bangs in the final fight, but these are very good runners who, if the idea of looting or nerfing Big Bangs is going to be the strategy to do it, I think they'll all be able to make sure that they'll be able to do that without.
Now, optimum case is that he finds a pigtail and a hook up here on the moon. Non-optimal case is he finds a pigtail with no hook.
Yeah, absolutely. The hook would be a big one right now because that's a potential 2 key items right there with that rat tail turn in. And if you find the pigtail, that's just some gravy on top, of course.
Yes, because we have the T4, the T3 flag set, not the T4 flag. We can't find an adamant, just lying around. So we want to get that pigtail so we can get the best armor in the game.
Yeah, there is a chance that you could find it as a reward for one of the non-key item location spots, but the one that's guaranteed is if you turn in the pigtail first.
I didn't catch that if Dark Imps was at a Plague Spot or D-Lunar spot.
This is the D-Lunar spot, so this is worth a lot of experience. Probably sad that there's no hourglasses in his inventory because those Dark Imps are hitting hard. And he takes a quick reset here.
We love our free bosses, but these free bosses are only really free when we have the right items to deal with them. Penguinator going in for round 2, it seems.
Yeah, rearrange his party a little bit. Put Fusia in the middle. Rearrange his magic so he knows where the spells that he wants to cast are located. I think those are all pretty smart things to do. And yet he's still hurt searching around for him.
Well, his Foo's still alive.
Yeah, and the blink is off, so Fu should be able to finish out the fight. And that stone just able to one-shot those Dark Imps. So everybody's going to get 100,000 experience on this one. Pretty nice fight there.
And that'll bring his Foo up to full power as well. Oh, I love that pan play. Not only does he get a Stardust Rod for Foo, which is the best black magic rod in the game, but he'll also get the decision. Does he want to turn in that pan? I would.
Yeah, that pan gives him a key item right there, so that's one already. And then a possibility of two more key items, one from the Sylphs and one in Sheila 2. But it looks like Penguinator is committed to the moon right now and is ready to grind, so it looks like he's not going to take the time to go back down to the planet.
And he instantly resets out of Mom Bomb.
Yeah, Mom Bomb is a scary fight in a lot of places. Gets a lot more HP than if you want to just kill her outright. It's usually a lot more HP to go with than the regular boss at that point, and is a very powerful physical attacker.
We see on screen that Podrick, Smapty, and Justin MDP are still doing the same things that we've seen Penguinator do as well, perhaps in a slightly different order, but all on the route to getting their crystal, getting their Foo, and probably going to.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's still going to be interesting to see if any of them decide to make a different decision than Penguinator made. Penguinator decides to go straight to the moon after getting his Fusia here, but we'll see, and Darkness Crystal, of course. We'll see if any of the other ones decide to make that play into tower, start to check the other key item spots before heading up there.
I'm hoping to find the pass in the tower key to reward those who go there.
Yeah, that would be a really interesting, event to happen. Penguinator finding the Bahamut in the Ogopogo spot. This is, I wouldn't call this free, because we don't have a pile of star veils that you often have, but we do have access at this point. 2 of the 3 white mages on the team have access to the wall spell, so that should help.
Yeah, you're used to using Star Veil so often, and then you realize, oh, I do have a character that can just cast wall.
Yeah, and it looks like that might be an Artemis arrow or Artemis bow on Porum. So doing some serious damage to Bahamut as well. It looks like Penguinator did just have enough time to get all of the walls up. We'll see if they all lasted, and they did. So the full reflect on the Mega Nuke. So very good job by Penguinator there. And it does look like Justin is making that decision to head up to the tower.
So this will be new ground that we haven't seen any of our featured on-stream runners actually do.
Yeah, so this is going to be really interesting, because if this gives the key items that we'll get to 10 key items, then this, even though this is a bit of a slower play, it might allow Justin to catch up while grinding and getting to the levels needed to fight Cerberus. Because that, if Justin can get to 10 key items before getting to that Dark Imps fight that Penguinator did, instead of 100,000 experience each, that's 200,000. That's 100,000 experience for one basically free fight where all you have to do is cast stone. So that's really interesting. That's a lot of time that could in grinding just from that one thing.
I'm also
finds that
I'm
hook.
also interested to see if Justin used his one Siren to add on to his, double experience boost. Getting 2 gold reuse would be really nice.
Yeah, that's another place where you can get quite a bit of experience in one shot. Go like I believe if without the life glitch on, it would be an extra 60,000 experience for one fight.
We have chat pointing out that Penguinator did indeed get his hook, so now all he needs to do is fight a boss to get a pigtail, but he looks like he's opting for some trap chests instead.
Yeah, I think at this point, when Penguin didn't do the tower, didn't go back after the pan, I think Penguinator is fully committed to just doing the grind right now, and opening the trap chest kind of really seals that. This is my grind. This is what I'm doing. So that kind of makes sense with what he's been doing so far. Now Justin's going for a totally different strategy at this point, so it's going to be really interesting to see the differences here. And Poydrak activating the Darkness Crystal hadn't done that previously like the other runners had. Now, I don't think that he has gone down to the Dwarf Castle yet either. So he's going to be disappointed if he checks Lunar Subterranean and sees that season.
Yeah, I feel like everyone going to the moon is like, maybe it will be Fu, and
Yeah.
it's not.
I think that's their first thought, at least. So. Looks like Justin's getting to the top of the tower, fighting a lunar boss there. Trying to think of which ones we haven't seen. We haven't seen Pale Dim yet.
It could be Plague.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Plague yet. We have seen Ogopo. We have seen Wyvern. We have seen there. We get Pale Dim. Gonna hit a little tough, a little hard here, but I don't think it should be too tough for this team to deal with.
And we can see we have one of our free fights in the waterfall. Smapty's fighting King and Queen.
Yeah, I'm sure they would like to see King and Queen Evelyn where the mom bomb is, but not gonna happen this time.
Now, I was hoping that Penguinator would use Warp instead of Exit, so he could go and do that Wyvern spot real easily.
Either that, or I was incorrect in my previous assessment of his play, and he is going back to the blue planet. Probably gonna activate that hook and cash in that rat tail, or smack Yang on the face. Might be going for the 10 key items after.
Well, I know he's not going to check the character from a hook because he has a whole party.
Yeah, I doubt he's going into Evelyn, but looks like he's first heading to Damsian to get that hovercraft. We're going to see a rat tail check in now. This is interesting. This is an interesting question because there's a possibility that the pink tail could be given by the Sylphs or Sheila too. The question is, do you go and do that route first so that you only go here once? Because he does get the pass here, which is a very nice item to find, but it doesn't count as 17 key items. Whereas if he went and did the pan cycle first, he would have only had to take one route into the into that adamant grotto. So I'm not sure. Like that's one of those things where if it paid off and it was that 10th key item, 2, 3, 4, because he's at 9 right now. So if that would have been the 10th key item, that would have been the only thing that he would do. So that was a bit of a gamble, I think, that he made, and it didn't pay off this time, even though what he found was very useful.
It looks like he's going to go and also bonk Yang, probably check in that Sheila item.
And not to bury the lead, Justin did find the twerp at the top of the Tower of Zot, or the top of the lower half of the Tower of Zot, and is about to
not in the tower room.
Yeah, the spoon is the reward for the tower room, and that's just a piece of cutlery in this in this situation.
I mean, Justin could be the hero of the people and go play that twin harp.
Well, he is headed towards Toria right now, so he might be on.
All right. He's heading up to the Chocobo Forest. I think we're going to get that twin harp you wanted, Rex.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a somewhat logical decision by Justin as well, because he's also at that 9 key item level, and so if he could get to that 10th one here, he'll have 10 key items before heading to the moon.
And Chad, if you have that harp, please show that. Give your support to listening to the music. We might get an encore from Smapty as well then.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if Smapty is making that same play that.
Chat pointing out that Sheila 2 is indeed an adamant armor.
An adamant armor, but not a pink tail. Like, this is a situation where if it was a pink tail, I think Penguinator would be a bit happier, because he'd still get an adamant armor, but he'd also be at that 10 key items level. And so Penguinator now making the trip to the tower, so he's going to commit to the 10 key items now too. This is fascinating.
I mean, Penguin has coined the term where he does half of tower. It's one of his things.
Yeah, this might be the half tower special. And now this is going to be a really big opportunity for Justin and Smapty to try to mount a comeback. Now, Smapty's gone to the moon, and so we know that there's a key item in that dark imps room. So Smapty can get to that 10 key items right there.
And we'll listen in as we hear that start of that music playing. And call down chat, Chrono Cross, Radical Dreamer. Alright, and we have Plague down.
Yes, and Penguin did decide to do the half tower special. So Penguin's going to get his 10th key item right now with that spoon. And Justin is not rewarded. Gets the Excalibur. Well, somewhat rewarded, because it is nice to get an Excalibur for Cecil, without a doubt. But that is not a key item. So
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
The quest for the 10 key items seems to be a bit of a stretch now.
Yeah, that's been a tough one. It's been very interesting to see that play in this scene. Meanwhile, Smapty is fighting those dark imps, and once is able to take them down, we're going to see 10 key items on Smapty's screen as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Penguin Raider goes straight for a Paladin slot now.
Yeah, or just uh, opens all the trap chests on the way down as well. There's so many different routes that Penguinator can make to try to get these experience here. He might still have that siren too.
I believe the only person who's used the Siren was Podrak so far.
But it looks like you were correct, Legend. Penguinator heading towards that pale dim location.
And for everyone who's just joined us, we ended up finding the crystal at Dwarf Castle. A lot of our runners went to the moon hoping to find Fu because we had seen him at this sand ruby spot. And we eventually found Fu as well after he wasn't at Earth Crystal like many people hoped.
It was
correction.
Fu
Tower
was
of
at
Thought. Yes.
Those dark imps hit a little hard the first time that that Smeagty went in there, so it has to try again. Because they are fast, they are strong, and Smeagty seems to be looking at Fatal as the way to take these out, whereas could just use the stone to wipe them all out in one hit.
Podrak has found our hairdryer's chest, which we have, so lovingly named.
And it looks like Penguinator is cashing in that siren on the King Ryu's. Now at 10 key items, this fight will, assuming no Life 2 shenanigans, this fight will be worth 120,000 experience. But we'll see. There might be a play to try to get to use a Life 2 on this one. We'll see.
Yes, I'm glad Penguin held on to that siren so we can get his double Ryu fight at the 10 key item. And we have Podrak also going in for a Cave Bahamut.
Yeah, that's where Justin is fighting the elements, right? Yeah, DJ Cocker saying you could Life 2 even without GL, and that's correct, because that is vanilla behavior, because Life 2 restores it with full health.
And it doesn't matter that bringing the second one back cancels out the hourglass stop, because we haven't found hourglasses.
But you also need to remember that King Ryu's are end game random encounter. These are not easy mobs to fight. Drabalord, what is Catalite? The easiest definition is about the most difficult flags that we could come up with that would still be most of the time raceable.
Yeah, this seed has been fairly generous with decent characters, decent loot, not horribly trolly boss.
Yeah, you're right, DJ Conkers. Life 1 is vanilla behavior, but I think Life 2 kind of works as intended. Life 1 works kind of in a bizarre sort of situation.
Yeah, all of our runners just, looking for places to grind, looking for more experience. And unfortunately, Podrak takes a wipe there.
Conkers, you control me whenever you want, so that's fine. Justin making another attempt at this elements fight. Smapty gonna try to take down this mom bomb. I think this is gonna be a tough fight. Good luck there, Smape.
Yeah, all of the current bosses on screen, we haven't actually seen what item they give.
That's right, yeah. So I think with the amount of grinding, I think Penguinator's in a pretty good spot fighting this Octomammoth here. The other two ones are a bit more difficult at this point, I'd say, given the levels and the setup that we have right now.
Yeah, especially now, once you get some of those initial attacks on, you get rid of some of those extra speed, because right at the start, there's a lot more speed than right at the end when you've done a lot of damage.
Yeah, every, I believe, 2 hits gets rid of a leg, but yeah, the amount of damage that Penguin can dish out right now is so much that we only see a couple of the legs go down before Octomammoth is destroyed.
And we are rewarded with a ninja shirt.
One of the best prizes ever.
I mean, we got a spoon, we got a ninja shirt, we started with a really good sword, but no edge to be found. Alright, so now we see Penguin with one of those 3 carries in a warlock.
Yeah, I like this fight. This is a pretty easy fight because all of these mobs are susceptible to stone, and it's worth quite a bit of experience. This is a fight that you want to see when you're doing the trap chest grind.
A fun thing to say to people when they're doing trap chests on the moon is, don't you dare find those 2 red dragon chests. They'll think that you're crunchy with ketchup.
Penguinator rewarded with a silver helmet. I'm sure exactly what he wanted to do there. Smeepty's gotten to the final form of the Mom Bomb fight, which is the 6 bombs. Now, something like Quake is probably, yep, that's being queued up as the way to probably try to take care of these as quickly as possible.
We still have the Adamant and the Legend Sword in the loot table as well. So no guaranteed pink tail here for sure.
Penguinator heading back to the blue planet. Is he ready to fight Zeramus?
I mean, looks like it. I was kind of hoping for him to check that Chocobo forest he flew over.
Yeah, that would have been the. Oh, I forgot to check that chest.
It will be interesting to see what his chest count is when he finishes. And he goes into the inn to turn in his pass.
So now it's time time to ask the question we've got to ask. Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
Chat, get your guesses in. Whose butt are we going to kick? I mean, Ultramos would be a very appropriate for this type of seat. So we can see both Smapney and Justin are using their sirens for their 2 gold Ryu grounds.
This is going to be an interesting fight for Penguinator. It's going to be interesting to see how much he values keeping Porum alive.
I mean, he does have Nuke to nerf the Big Bangs if he wanted to.
Oh, looks like we have Deadpool.
So, Kate Sif actually guessing correctly in chat. And using that silk web, that'll be very, very helpful.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Like when that was found relatively early in the seed, keeping that one there is very important. So now has enough time to cure up Fusia again before this Big Bang hits, and even if it does hit, should be able to survive the lower damage of the Big Bang, the first one.
And we have a Zerked Porum.
Ooh, Tella taking a nap.
Tella is
even the nerf Big Bang too much for him.
Tella is definitely ground inspector number 1. Gotta make sure that ground is inspected properly.
Yeah, I think what that's saying is, I think that he's not going to worry so much about keeping her alive. I'm guessing that he's going to just take the full power Big Bang here.
Yeah, always good to find some ethers, so you can get a Food's limited HP pull up if you actually need that.
Yeah, ethers, or I mean, ideally an elixir would be the best one to find, but getting through this entire fight on just Foo's 190 HP or MP is tough.
Oh, he's gonna have his Zerkers chug some wine now, so that'll be good.
Does he still have another one for Sid? Doesn't look like it. I think it just went in. And now after that black hole, the speed is back to normal for the effect of that silk web that was thrown out the first time was worn off. So these Big Bangs are coming a bit more fast and furious. Does he have that Ether 2 to charge up the MP of Fusia?
And a question in chat is, there have currently been no finishers yet. Using a virus on Aromas to try to maybe nerf that Big Bang?
Yeah, that's what's going on here. Unfortunately, it might be that Cecil or Sid might be. Yeah, it looks like Sid's due to be joining Tella and Porum is napping. So we'll see if Penguinator might take time during a black hole to heal up anybody or to try to recover any of the other characters, or if he just wants to try to finish this out with just Cecil and Fusia.
Well, he's in phase 2 now, so he's gotten some of that HP down.
Yeah, gone. We saw the virus in phase 1, where the nuke is happening in phase 2. So
I believe the virus happens if you haven't done enough attack power to him in 3 Big Bang. And now we have Podrick and Snape D, both with Bahamut on the same screen. Very nice. Ooh.
That was a high roll Big Bang there. And that's going to take out Fusia and basically going to mean, almost certainly going to mean a reset for Penguin.
I'm hoping for Rock's Fall.
No, that's a Big Bang.
Oh, on the plus side, he has the pass. I'm not sure if he's going to want to get more levels or what.
Looks like he's going to try a different agility set, not have adamant armor on Cecil this time.
Yeah, gearing Tella up a little bit more. I don't think we've found any apples at all this seed either.
Yeah, if there were any, there were not many. So I think if we had, I would imagine Penguinator using if he had any extra apples to use them on Fusia to try to survive those big bangs a little bit easier. But we'll see if this changing of where the adamant armor was off of Cecil, because since we don't have the AA flag on, Cecil's agility is what everybody else is based on. So by not having that bump that you get in the agility stat from the adamant armor on Cecil means that hopefully Zero Miss is going to be much slower this time around. The trade-off is Cecil will not be nearly as powerful, and moving it on to Sid, Sid's power still doesn't match up what Cecil could do with the adamant. So the buff that you get in the attack isn't as much as you'd get on Cecil. So it's a real trade-off that you're making here in power output, but it might be important to do as far as not wiping to big bangs coming super fast.
Yeah, survivability and on a high level, agility anchoring is very helpful, so those big bangs don't come out tremendously fast like you mentioned.
Yeah, now that's the thing, like Penguinator I believe is still using defense sword on Cecil. So it's a lower powered sword. Now when some of our other runners get to the point where they're in the Zero Miss fight, the amount of damage that Cecil could do with the Excalibur versus the defense sword is a lot better. So for them, it still might pay off to use the adamant on Cecil and have that faster Big Bang, because we saw at the end the Berserk Cecil doing damage. If that's a couple thousand more each time he hits, or like 1,500 more maybe even, then we might get to that Meteo phase before the end of it. Cecil with an adamant armor in the Meteo phase, he's pretty safe.
And I believe we got that Excalibur from the Twin Harp, so anyone who did do music was rewarded.
And Justin definitely did that. But that could definitely be another place where Justin can catch up.
And remember, though we have our 4 featured runners on screen, we have another about 19 or so runners, so another 15 off screen.
Yeah, and we don't know what other places any of them may have. So here we are, take 2 for Penguinator here.
Maybe he won't berserk form this time.
Yeah, that's another option, to not berserk and try a little bit more adamantly, to put it one way, to keep the Big Bangs nerfed, to keep her alive, having an extra healer with more MP. Ooh, but that Big Bang was nasty anyways, so...
So much for that idea.
But that is definitely something, another way of trying to deal with this, without a doubt.
And again, because we know shops only sold cabins, we don't have a lot of life potions, we don't have a lot of curative items, we don't even have any star veils.
Yeah, so any way of doing anything else is going to be a lot more difficult in this flag set than a lot of the ones where you can buy these items in shops.
Looks like Podrak is going up to check Wyvern spot.
I'm going to find the Octomam there, and probably going to be pretty happy about that. It went well for Penguinator.
Siege damage isn't too bad, so still working out okay for him, doing some damage.
Yeah, the timing gets weird with that virus being thrown in. Now I'm going to have to burn a Cure 3 here. There's the black hole.
Yeah, having Porum live and being able to use food to throw some nukes for some extra damage would have definitely been very helpful.
Yeah, and getting things like Berserk back up on multiple characters is a lot more possible if you have 2 light mages. Because if you have one and you spend a turn using that Berserk, it might be too late before it comes back around and that next Big Bang hits.
And Penguinator moves Stardust Rod to bump up Fu's black magic to try to attempt to nerf this next Big Bang.
Well, he's still in it, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're watching and you're like, oh, I hope for low rolls. Oh, I hope that they'll survive this next Big Bang.
Yeah, that MP is getting ever lower and lower. Gonna try to go with just a Cure 3 this time instead of Cure 4. And here's the single target nuke. It's hitting Sid. And we see a Cure 2 out of Cecil here.
I mean, I would have put the white robe on Cecil rather than the Dragoon armor or the karate.
I believe Fu's wearing the white robe to maximize his healing capabilities in this fight.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Penguinator to defeat Saromas this time.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Exirac pointing out that Penguinator can use Cecil as a mana battery.
That was a full-powered Big Bang there, but able to win there, so there we go.
Exigmund asks if there is any Avenger or Drain Sword spotting in this seed. We did find a Drain Spear.
I think there was one Drain Sword available too, but no Avenger. Yeah, I actually see 2 Drain Swords in the inventory, just in there.
And Snape D going in for his Zeromus fight now.
Yeah, good luck to Smapty. Having Porm at even lower HP total than... Yeah, I think overall the levels are a little bit lower on Smapty's side than Penguin's, but we'll see how this goes.
And Justin turning his battle speed down to 3, possibly going in for the Z fight soon himself.
Yeah, it looks like Justin found a cursed ring somewhere. That's going to Cecil's agility considerably lower. So that'll be another way to try to mitigate the agility and the speed of Zeromus. Now both Smapty and Justin have to make the long walk. They didn't find the pass.
Exactly. And we have a question in chat about why keeping Sid in the back row. I believe that Sid has been back row glitched the whole entire time, so his damage should be about the same. Oh, it looks like Penguinator took another wipe.
Yeah, it looks like he's going back to a previous save, so he doesn't need to go through the whole animation of going back up. He's going to probably fight a few more trap chests, try to get some more experience. So...
Yep, now we have Justin trying to do this fight. He's gonna see whose butt we're gonna kick.
It looks like Smapty does have that Drain Sword Berserk strategy going.
And again, we have not seen any finishers yet, so if Smapty can get through this fight, he could be our first place finisher.
Now, the issue with the Drain Sword is that it's quite a bit lower in power than a lot of the other ones. But the fact that it heals him as it hits can mean that it's a lot safer. Like, as long as he can survive a big bang and get a couple hits in, he's probably going to be able to be okay. Now, the problem is the black holes will hit, and then that'll take away that Berserk, which makes him a little slower, and the damage output won't be as high. So...
Oh, and we have a first place finisher. Supremacy has finished with a time of 1 hour and 37 minutes.
Yeah, GG's to Supremacy.
Now, Justin should be doing a good amount more damage with his Cecil, being that he found that Excalibur.
Yeah, and you see the over 3,000 damage. And that's... that might be the difference, too. Unfortunately, the account on Smapty's screen, we had a counter to hit Cecil right before a big bang. So that's going to mean he's going to have to be revived, and sometimes even a Drain Sword can't save you.
Yeah, we have a Penguinator. He's found a red dragon and a blue dragon in another trap chest.
Yeah, this can be a difficult fight, but it is worth a lot of experience.
And Podrick has the exact same red dragon, blue dragon fight up as well now.
Yeah, this can be a dangerous fight, but it is worth a lot of. Since it's the exact same fight, I thought I'd say make the exact same analogy.
Penguinator cannot seem to keep his foe alive. Thankfully, food does not necessarily rely on experience from these fights.
Ordinarily, I'd agree with you. However, in this case, I think that getting one more level and get just a little bit more HP on him might not be a bad thing. And sadly, his Porum didn't get experience for that either.
Yes, we can see that food does gain more health from experience, so, having him alive I think would be preferable. And we have a second place finisher. Aizen Tayama has finished second with a time of 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, GG's to Aizen Tayama. Also been playing very good recently. So Smapty taking a turn to Berserk up Sid there, but is able to get the Cure 3 off, so there's the shake. So we'll see what happens the next time on the Big Bang. Meanwhile, on Justin's, another successfully nerfed Big Bang and has been able to keep Porum alive so far, so been very nice there. Now his Porum has a little bit more HP than Penguins had during there, and that's going to be the fact that Justin had the 10 key items before fighting anyone on the moon, and so the grind went a little bit better there.
It looks like he used that moon veil on Fu, so he reflected the virus, but also reflected the heal.
Yeah, and usually the amount of damage that you're doing is so much more than the amount of healing that's going to be reflected, so you don't worry about that too much, but it is there.
I'm always a fan of the reflecting a nuke off of yourself to avoid that counter nuke penalty. However, sometimes you end up nuking yourself in the face if you time it wrong.
Yeah, with those black holes erasing the wall that comes up, it can be dangerous. But as long as you know, like what Zeramis's pattern is, you can usually avoid doing that.
And then they must be going down chests in the same order. Podrick and Penguinator had 2 red dragons up on the same time.
Now, Podrick didn't want any of that.
Looks like Smapty's probably heading down to do a second try at their Zeroma's fight.
Yeah, wasn't able to see in the inventory how MP curative items Justin has. We know Penguin has a couple of Ether too, so that's nice. And we have a third place finisher. Chokosura finished in third place at 1 hour 43 minutes and 29 seconds. So GG is to Chokosura. Speaking of people doing really well in Free Enterprise recently.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if his Z-score gets him in, since he's been finishing really good on these last couple of races. And we have a 4th place finisher with Night Dew. Night Dew finishes with 1 hour and 44 minutes.
But we're still looking for the first of our 4 featured runners to finish the seed. We know that our runners are very close. That is without a doubt.
Oh, Fu took a higher roll, but Porum still survived to get that Cure 4 off on Justin's.
Yeah, and the higher MP pool from Porum means got some time to try to revive up and get back into the game here.
And we have a 5th place finisher. Kubahi finishes with a time of 1 hour and 45 minutes. GG Kubahi.
And once again, Poidrek and Pegulator. This.
Yeah, I feel like Justin's been in this Zeromus fight for quite a while.
Well, he's been very careful and doing it, as a ground flyer in the chat mentioned, doing a very good job of making sure those things to try to keep Porum alive through this entire thing. So this has been very well played, very smartly played, not going super aggressive, doing the right things to keep his characters alive and being able to deal as much damage as possible. Now that's going to be a rough thing, but we do have the life one, and you see, here's the thing: like every time that a character, an important character that is, goes down for Justin, having those 2 white mages there means that he can easily get the revive and the cure both ready.
And we have a 6th place finisher. Moonblaze Wolf finishes with a time of 1 hour and 46 minutes.
And GG's to Blaze there.
Boardface in the chat saying, pour one out for Tella.
If I didn't have shag carpeting, I would do so.
And we have a 7th place finisher with Scratch Dragon, finishing with a time of 1 hour and 47 minutes.
Dusty asking how many races in this one? I believe it was 19. Ooh, that Big Bang was just a little bit too much for Fusia to.
And now we have Podrak using the pass that he found to go and fight Zeromus.
Yeah, so Poidrek and Penguinate are both doing a little bit more grinding. This is going to be Poidrek's first attempt at the fight here, and Penguinator's third, I believe. But we do have some rocks falling over on Justin's screen. Justin squeezing every little bit of healing out of Porum as he possibly can. Here goes a Cure 1.
Oh, I'm really hoping for that to work.
He's looking for any sort of healing item right now. And double check, triple check. Oh, gonna go to some offense from. Like, this is what I can do. Oh, let's hope this misses Cecil. Please miss Cecil.
Oh!
Oh, so close for JDP there. Wow. That is so unfortunate.
We believe in you, Justin. We know you can do it.
That was so close. Just ran out of MP on there. If he had maybe 50 more MP, that fight would have been done. He played it. He played it so smart, but just ran out of that MP. Okay. Well, now
Well,
we.
on the plus side, we're going to have all of our 4 featured runners at this Romus fight at the same time.
Yeah, I don't believe. To answer your question, Chad, I don't believe anyone in any of our 4 featured runners found Avenger. There was that Drain Sword, and it looks like Smapty is trying to lean on that. But now it's going to be tougher without that. Without the back assist to back it up. The amount of damage that the Drain Sword deals is a lot lower.
So we see Penguinator reflecting a nuke off of Fu, hopefully getting some extra damage in there.
Yeah, he's got a lot more HP on his characters this time around. So I think we're looking at a lot more damage output and a lot more safety.
Yeah, even doing the reflect strats there with white on Porum.
And we have an 8th place finisher. Rivers McCown finishes in 8th place. 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 13 seconds. So GG's to Rivers.
Yeah, we have Tella casting Berserk on Justin's screen. Gonna get some usage out of Tella before he takes a nap.
I don't remember, did Poydrak find that Excalibur? Because he seems to be doing quite a bit of damage with Cecil, almost 5k with each hit. So he might have found it.
I believe the only one of our runners that actually went and did music was Justin, so he may have found a better weapon somewhere else. Xyrak pointing out in chat that he does have both the Adamant and the Legend Sword on his tracker.
So he went to Kokals to get that. So looks like Smapty decides to do a little bit more grind.
Yeah, I feel like there's only so many times you can say, maybe the RNG will be better on this run.
Penguinator having to adjust to try again as well. Yeah, I think this seed can be called Zeramus's Revenge because everything seemed nice and easy at first. Now Big Bang is just making a mockery of our runners.
And we have a 9th place finisher. Will Bear finishes with a time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 59 seconds. Hopefully, our featured runners aren't so worn out from the Zermus fight that they'll like to do interviews with us.
Well, I wouldn't blame them if they don't want to talk about it after. With how rude Zeramus is being.
Yeah, it takes definitely a good amount of strength to say, I'm going to go into this fight and try it again after I've tried it a bunch of times already.
Voidrak
So,
able to survive that big bang there.
and Smapty's still grinding on a trap chest, trying to get his party just a little bit. Yeah, Justin has silk webs in his inventory, so those should hopefully continue to make the fight a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think Justin's in a desperation time switched to that drain sword, but I think this big bang is going to hit before. Yeah, it'll be tough for JDP there.
Yeah, Penguinator now using that Moon Veil on Cecil.
Yeah, I think the idea of using it on Cecil or Sid is pretty smart because even if they take a big bang, they can usually take a little bit more damage after that too. So, oh, got lucky there. Got the counter nuke hitting the reflected Cecil, so Zirmus dealing damage to himself.
Yeah, that's very nice. And his Penguinator's Porum knowing white will definitely do some good damage as well.
Yeah, that's the advantage that the extra levels are going to give, is the more offense. Well, and the more HP too, but really being able to deal with less big bangs because you kill Zirmus fast is very important. And there you go. Smapty getting that curse string out of the might help too.
Yeah, that's the question. Do you put the curse ring on to bring your agility down? Or do you leave it off to, have Cecil do more damage? If you're doing reflect strats, then you won't necessarily need Cecil's damage.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's all this this balancing act of fighting Zerabin, getting everything right. Now, in a lot of seeds, you can either grind up to a level easily with sirens, so that you can get to the point where you're safe, or you can buy enough items to make it so that I can use elixirs every round and like that. These sort of things are what makes Catalite a lot more difficult than some of those other seeds. You don't get to pick and choose your party. You don't get to and as we see at Voidrix, you don't get to survive through Meteo phase.
That's always brutal. As you get to Meteo phase, you're so close. And then Meteo phase actually kind of hurts sometimes.
Yeah, we've seen 2 of our featured runners now go down to the Meteo, which is usually the light at the end of the tunnel for these Zerabus fights. So
Natar apologizing in chat instead of cackling evilly.
well, I think in general, Scala is more of a cackling guitar, but
And there we have
hey.
it. Penguinator finishes in 10th place with a time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 45 seconds.
And we'll see if Penguin wants to come in for an interview.
We still have Smape D, fighting more trap chest.
And I think that's we saw Penguinator do it too. The idea of like realizing that this just isn't working right now. Getting a few more levels can really help. It definitely helped Penguinator.
Hello, Penguinator. GG.
Thank you.
So that Zeramus was a little tough today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I played the seed kind of poorly early, got lucky in the middle, then played it bad in the end too. So all worked out in the end.
We thought for a hot minute there that you might have been going 399 out of 399, checking places like Kokel's Hut and Chocobo Forest for loot. Is that kind of your general strategy in Catalite seeds?
It's mainly in this case I wanted something for Sid. Usually you can at least find an Earth Axe or Ogre Axe, not a single axe anywhere that I found until Earth Crystal Vault. So I was mainly just looking for that. And of course with Catalite, you know, you're gonna have very limited access to everything, so it doesn't hurt too much to check things, but did take an extra 10-15 minutes probably at the beginning that I didn't need to.
I was really hoping you'd check that that one random chocobo forest that's not really connected to anything.
I'm not even sure where all the chocobo forests are. I should probably look that up for the last qualifier.
Well, once we get 399 out of 399 for next year's World Series of Free Enterprise, then you'll really have to study up on that. But for now, you're probably okay. So we saw you go into Zeramus at a pretty low level, and then go back to do a little bit more grinding. Was it the agility of Cecil, you think, that was making it tough?
Partially. I kind of thought Cecil would be doing more damage with the admin armor, but still with only defense sword, it wasn't all that much. I guess I don't have all that much practice in these kind of situations where only Sid and Cecil, just less damage than I expected. It might have worked if I put the admin on Fu, because Fu was having a hard time keeping up, but also just he ran out of MP, so it was pretty hard with the limited resources at those levels.
Are you going to be participating in tonight's qualifier as well?
I am planning to, yes.
All right. Well, hopefully everything will work better. I'll be like all four of the runners that we've had have taken wipes to Zeramus. So as far as what we're seeing, having you lose to Zeramus this time is normal. But hopefully he'll be a little bit nicer for you.
Yeah, I might just play it a bit safer in tonight's qualifier. I'd spent like an hour on the previous qualifier fighting Zeramus, so maybe just level a little bit more than I think I need to and see if things work out better.
All right. Did you have any final thoughts today?
I think that about does it for me. Thanks for commentating and all the people helping out behind the scenes.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for letting us.
And good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and so that's Penguinator, the first of our 4 features finish. Just want to make sure to remind you all to give all 4 of our racers a nice little follow for being so kind to letting us watch this run. Penguinator, Poidrax, Maped, and Justin MDP. Also, give love to the people behind the scenes who are working this. Natara is our wonderful streamer tonight and Zyrek doing the tracking. So make sure you give all them a follow tonight or this afternoon, wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is. Give them a follow.
I mean, I would follow you, Rex, but I've already followed you quite a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't say no if you follow me. You should follow Legend too.
And we have our 11th place finisher with Elkier with a time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 19 seconds.
And Poidrak ready to take another crack at Zeramus.
Yeah, Poydrak just went and did Wyvern Spot to get his Legend Sword, so maybe that'll make the fight a little bit easier as well.
Yeah, having already had the adamant is to forge a Excalibur. So now all three of the runners that we have left do have access to an Excalibur.
And we have Rock's Fall on Justin's screen yet again. His characters seem to be in much better HP.
Yeah, and Fusia survived or dodged it too. So I think we're in pretty good shape for JDP here. So that'll be awesome. That damage output with Cecil is very nice right now.
And there we go. JDP has finished in 12th place with a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 44 seconds. GG, JDP.
And we'll see if JDP wants to come in too.
As a reminder, we do have one more qualifier for Catalite tonight. However, that is not being restreamed. So please watch your favorite runners and still give them your support.
Okay, looks like JDP is unable to come to stream because where he's at, it's 4 a.m. and the family is asleep. So just send your best wishes to JDP and GG's overall.
So we have Poydrak still working on his Aromas fight over here. Currently, his whole party's up, so let's keep on rooting for him there.
Yeah, at this higher level, it should be a lot easier. It definitely was the strategy that worked for Penguinator. But also that nice shiny new sword that he has is going to help too. We see almost 6,000 damage for that first hit there. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Wheelbore pointing out in chat that the whole party being up does not include Tella.
Yeah, Tella doing his job, laying down.
At least I'm not a complete witch, with Porum taking a nosedive of that Big Bang just recently.
Yeah, Poydrak's now going to be in a position where he's going to have to do a little bit of recovery. Hopefully he's got the wherewithal to do it here.
And Smapty goes in trying to take it another time. He has about 1,700 HP on Porum now, so possibly knows what.
Yeah, that's about what Penguinator had the last time that he went in, and it served him well. So hopefully this will be good for Smapty. Cool, but there's a reset for Poydrak. That's rough.
Yeah, luckily he has the pass, so that does cut down on the time it takes him to attempt another Zeromus fight.
Yeah, and I think that's something that psychologically may affect people in the run, whereas like if they don't have the pass and they know it's going to be a long walk, try again, they might just try to keep, like even if they just have that one character left, try whatever they can in order to get to that next little level. Whereas if you have the pass, you might just say like, oh, I don't think I've got a shot here. I'll just reset and start again from scratch. So.
And we see a wall on Sid, so possibly trying to go the Reflect Strat way now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was more of a hybrid strat because, as we see the Berserk coming from Tela there, you don't want to leave Excalibur Cecil's damage off the table because that's just too much.
Well, reflect strats tend to be more useful when you have 3 or more mages too as well.
Yeah, and especially one that might have a bit more of a bit more of an MP pool than Fusia has as well, and a bit better stats than Fusia has. I mean, he's very versatile, very useful, powerful, but his magic stats aren't up to the level, Porum, Palom, Radiant, Rosa.
And again, for those maybe possibly new to Final Fantasy IV or new to Free Enterprise, the reason why we reflect white is casting white on Zeromus can have very dire effects. I believe it's something like weak on your entire party.
Yeah, almost any spell or item that you use on Zeromus will have a counterattack. The ones that can make him do a counter nuke can be useful in certain situations, but no matter what, it's a nasty counterattack.
Dimmerine in chat correcting, saying it's only one party member, but still kind of devastating.
Ooh, Spapety trying to get another. This is where that timing window can be difficult. Queued up a Silk Web, but wasn't able to get it in before the Big Bang happened. Now, luckily, see, this is where Tela can be useful. Luckily, Tela died, so he didn't actually throw it because that would mean another counter nuke would happen after the Big Bang, where the HP levels are lower because of a full-powered Big Bang just hitting the party, and that could have meant another useful character. So that timing window to try to nerf those Big Bangs can be very difficult sometimes.
I feel like, other than being, a ground inspector, Tela also has a very valuable job. You must take the counter nuke.
Yeah, if your counter nuke hits Tela, that's the second best option. The best one would be whoever has the wall up, if there is a character. Second best is Tela, because you expect him to die at a Big Bang anyways. If he can take that nuke damage instead, that's so much nicer.
I definitely appreciate all of chat cheering on our runners. Definitely always use your support.
And now we're to the point where it's like, with Porum being dead too, nerfing Big Bang is a lot more difficult of a thing to do and have enough time to cure and everything like that. So we're just at the point where we're tanking these full power Big Bangs. Maybe able to get a Berserker back us up after a black hole. Just trying to attrition out Zeromus till the end.
It is interesting, on both parties, they have the exact same party members up currently.
Yeah, I think that's, well, the nature of this seed where the 5 characters we're given have 3 that have decent HP and 2 that don't, so...
Yeah, Spapty's characters kind of low on, MP, so we'll see what we can get out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Smapty doesn't have access to the same Ether 2s that Rick and Penguinator had.
Yeah, when you have so many different chests being opened on 4 different screens, it's a little hard to keep track of them all.
Yeah, it's hard enough to keep track of the key items. If we had to keep track of all the other little items that happen throughout the course of the race, it could be very difficult. But we do see some rocks fall.
And there it is. Smapty has finished in 13th place with a time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 48 seconds. GG Smapty.
GG's indeed.
And it looks like we're going to get Smapty in for an interview shortly. And we have rocks fall on project screen. GG Smapty.
Hello, Smapty, are you here?
Yes, hey, there we go.
Hi, GG's on your run.
Thank you, thank you.
How do you feel when you finally got that to the medio phase on Zeromus?
I stopped shaking a little bit. It was I didn't actually thought I'd dealt enough damage to get there, so I was kind of hoping he was gonna throw a black hole out so I could swap over to blood sword strats on or drain sword strats on Cecil. But then the meteor popped up. I'm like, ooh. Then I realized I didn't have enough MP to really get everybody back up to full on Fu. And I'm like, well, I hope everyone starts dodging rocks. But thankfully, he didn't get another one out. So.
Yeah, that Zeromus fight was very rude to all of our featured runners, and I'm sure quite a number of unstreamed runners as well.
Yeah, I flew a little close to the sun trying to attempt it as early as I did. So I gave it a few attempts. It didn't work. I saw all the finishes coming through and realized, yeah, I'm gonna have to level up a little bit. But once I found the 2 parts to Excalibur, I was like, well, let's make this a sure thing.
Okay, yeah, because we saw you that first time around, going in with basically just that drain sword. And like, if you had a couple big bangs hit too close to each other, that could be rude, and it did seem to end it there for you. But you're doing well up until.
Yeah, I thought I might eke it out, but it too many things needed to align, and it just wasn't happening. So I figured it was best to back off, lick my wounds, and try something a little more certain.
So I think the Zeramis fight seemed to be the biggest story as far as this. Anything that you think about the rest of the seed that was really notable from your point of view?
Well, it was really interesting seeing Fu early on Kaipo, because then I knew, okay, I'm gonna have to check as many character spots as I can, because I want him on my party. Because if the Sand Ruby doesn't show up, he's got to be out there, hopefully somewhere. I mean, I guess theoretically he could only be in that spot, but thankfully he showed up at Dwarf Castle, and that kind of gave me the confidence I needed to go to the moon.
Are you going to be racing in tonight's qualifiers?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it one more crack tonight, and hopefully hopefully do a little bit better.
Oh, I certainly wish you good luck on that.
Thank you very much. And thanks to the whole Restream team for putting all this together this early on St. Patrick's Day. Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for letting us watch your race tonight.
Oh, anytime. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. And everybody, make sure you give Smapty a follow. And it looks like we will have a quick talk with Poidrak, who unfortunately has forfeited from the race after that real unfortunate ending of that last one. So, Legend, what are your thoughts about this seed at this point?
Well, I liked our characters. I thought that, the XP grind was really difficult. So it just seemed like you're doing great, and then you hit a brick wall.
Yeah, this was tough because that grind came at kind of an inopportune time. Like your access to the moon and go mode was a little bit awkward with getting the 10 key items. So getting to like a real hefty level really took some extra work. And I think that bore out when we saw how difficult that Zeramis fight ended up being.
It was also a good reminder because, with 3.0 and the Jody agnostic flag, just remind you of how nice it is to sometimes have that flag on.
And we are joined by Poidrak here. Poidrak, thanks for joining us.
I'm more frustrated in myself knowing I can win that fight. I was just playing. It just never come across right in the actual when it actually was there.
Yeah, and it's also always got to be to have a team wipe in the medio phase and to have it happen twice. That's just I can understand why you didn't want to try that again.
It's the first one that really threw it off for me.
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to get through that, but I just ran out of resources. That was the real kicker on that. I just ran out of resources.
I really felt for you when you were trying to hit Zeromus with Fu, right, in the medio phase. I was, hoping that would work so much.
Yeah, it was at that point. It was he had the rune ring. Rune ring usually gives a good chance of dodging meteors. It was really, can I do enough damage from what I had already done? I was guessing no, but really I had already said this was going to be my last attempt if everyone else had finished, and Smoked just finished before that, and so I just gave it a go, see if I could get the win out of it, but no. Oh well, that is officially my first forfeit in any race. It had to come sometime, and really, I know I can win that fight. I'm probably going to revisit it later, just to show myself that I can win it. But yeah.
And to show Zeramis who's the boss, right?
Yeah. There was always the thing that I could have gone away, found a couple more items, maybe a second ether would have been really nice. Maybe just one cure free. But in terms of this seed, it was very sparing on the items that you really want.
Yeah, I think that between that and the kind of awkward timing for going to the moon with go mode made it so that the Zeramis fight ended up all four of the runners that we had on screen had a wipe, at least one wipe to Zeramis. So
yeah, I think apart from the Zeramis fight, my biggest hate about this seed, I will call it a hate because it was and it's all on myself. It's not on the game because the game is the game. You just play it. Nothing went right on the moon for me. Everything I went and tried to do just didn't result in me succeeding.
Oh, we definitely appreciate you having being one of our restreamed runners, and I hope you're able to go back and kick Z's butt when you replay this stream if you do it all.
yeah, I will go back and thank you for commentating on it. I'm sure you've done an amazing job. I'll probably revisit it later as well. So yeah, so I do apologise to everyone that I didn't finish. I hope you can understand why I'm feeling a bit frustrated now. But yeah, have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Poidrac, and I'm sure everybody will be fine.
You had support from chat for sure.
All right, so that was Poidrac. Make sure you give him a follow as well, along with all of our great featured runners tonight, Penguinator, Smeked, and JDP. Remember our restreamer tonight, Natara, our tracker Zyrak, doing the very important work behind the scenes. Everybody at the Free Enterprise Twitch channel and the Discord, making this game possible for all of us. And for Legend Harvest, I'm Rex Raoul, and thank you for watching.
Don't forget that we have our finals coming up on Friday for Catalite, and our next weekend will be the Edward Percent qualifiers.
And all of those should be a huge amount of fun. With that, thanks again to all of our runners and our commentators who have done just an amazing job. We are going to send all you folks over to Awaken Smoke, who is currently finishing up a Zeromis fight in some 2v2 practice. So let's go and give them some support and cheer them on for Zeromis, because as we've seen very clearly here, Zeromis is a monster. So good luck, have fun, and won't see you here tonight at 8 p.m. But hopefully see you again for the final tables, 9:30 p.m. Eastern this Friday. Have a good day, everybody.